Whew, boy. Mm. What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's had a great day. You know, it's hard. It's hard. It is hard being a Dallas Cowboy fan. It sucks because a week and a half from now, we'll be watching the Eagles in the Super Bowl again. We got I don't know what to think right now with the Cowboys. I'll be real with you. I want to be mad because of the season that we've had. I want to be mad because of the last 30 years. I want to be mad because of Stephen Jones's air quotes and dismissive of the fact that we haven't done shit for 30 years and they're trying to basically tell us that we're actually great. I want to be mad about Jerry Jones and we're all in. And then the crapola of doing more with less. But at the same time, I know that I'm not sure where this is all going. You know, there's three sides to every disagreement, right? If you have a fight with your girlfriend or your wife and all that, there's her side, there's your side, and somewhere in the middle lies the truth. Because whenever you have a disagreement, what you always do is you don't want to make sure, you're only going to say it in the best light of yourself. You may withhold details, you may exaggerate about some things, but you're not going to tell it maybe exactly as it is. You'll make yourself look like you have no fault. And see, that's the situation that we have kind of right now with Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys had the benefit of being America's team and having, of course, all the media and stuff that beholden to Jerry Jones and things. So he can kind of help set that narrative and that story more so than Mike McCarthy can. And so, you know, we're getting little bits and pieces like, you know, Mike McCarthy, he wanted a 5-year deal. And of course, you know, oh no, it was Mike McCarthy, he can't get a 5-year deal. But I can understand why he'd want a 5-year deal. A couple of reasons. One, security. After having gone through a year of being on the hot seat, you want to know you don't have to worry about it. And or you know you're not going to be coaching 5 years, but getting a 5-year contract means it's money that you're going to get paid. There's something like $800 million in coaches' salary out there that's currently being paid because of coaches and guaranteed contracts that have gotten fired. And we know the Joneses don't want to do that. Or it's a case of, a lot of times I'll get people that are calling me about doing a job. Oh my God, we want you to do this, 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 and this. And you look at the job and you're like, she kind of crazy? And there's no money on this job and it's going to be hard as hell. So what you do is, instead of saying, I don't want to do this because you're crazy, there's no money on this job, and it's going to be hard as hell. You put a number on it that's so astronomical that you figure they're just going to turn away. Or they say, when can you start? And you're like, I can't believe you're going to pay this kind of money for this thing. In which case you take it. And I think that's kind of the case with the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy, because now you're kind of hearing little things that it was Mike McCarthy who wanted to get rid of Amari Cooper, that Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott didn't get along. It was Mike McCarthy who wanted to get rid of Kellen Moore. It was Mike McCarthy who wanted a 5-year deal. So I don't know what to believe on that situation. But maybe Brian Schottenheimer is what we need. And I hate to quote an Eagle fan, but Leo Bridgewater, he would always say last year, he's happy about the movement, that they're trying something. And whether this is by accident, Mike McCarthy basically turning down, they thought he was coming back, that this is making them do something a little different. Now, the problem with the Cowboys is they don't know how to do anything different. They only know hiring from within. But maybe Brian Schottenheimer is just the right guy to do. I don't want to get sucked in and believing and drinking the Kool-Aid and everything else, but I swear, when I think about some of the guys that we brought in for coaches, I remember was it Sanjay Lau, who was a wide receiver coach, and he had them carrying bricks after practice. And his thought process was, that'll help with your manual dexterity. Well, I've carried a lot of bricks and stuff here at the Red Brick House and things, and all it ever did for me was my hands hurt. We brought in guys like Paul Alexander as an offensive line coach, who literally took good offensive linemen like Travis Frederick and Tyron Smith and things, and it seemed like we couldn't block anymore because of his blocking schemes. Coaching matters. And it seems like, for once, this isn't the Joneses saying, we're going to get this guy, and now we're going to hire the head coach. That it's guys that Brian Schottenheimer has worked with, and guys that have done some really good things. And maybe the youth of having, instead of these over-the-hill guys that have been, now journeymen, that maybe the younger voices might actually work better. I don't know. But I kind of like what's happening, as long as we don't get the OC from Cleveland. Then all bets are off. So that's my thoughts right there. And I'm going to say, I don't know what Stephen Jones has got playing. I almost feel like Stephen Jones is taking more and more of the spotlight and management of the Cowboys. That Jerry Jones is kind of there, but it's really Stephen Jones. It sounds like for once that they're recognizing that there's a problem with the running game, that there's a problem with the offensive line, and that there's a problem with the defensive line. You hear them kind of saying that Osa Digizua is kind of a priority, when typically a player like Osa would be one that they would say, El Paso. So I don't know. I don't know what to think. But I guess you got plenty of time to think about it. So that's all I have to say about that. I have to say, I sat here last night, like I always do, thankful that I've had this day, like I did last night, and finishing my video by always saying, tell the people you love how much you love them, because you might not get the chance again. And as soon as I got up and finished that video, sat down over there, and I saw the news, first reports of the plane crash at National Airport that I've flown out of many a time, many times. And when you get to National Airport, if you're going up GW Parkway, there is a park, Lady Bird Johnson Park. At least that's what it used to be called when we used to go there. Because that's right at the end of the runway. And when you're at that park, you're looking down, you see the Woodrow Wilson Bridge down there. It's beautiful since they rebuilt it with the archways and things. National Harbor's behind it with the Ferris wheel. But you're right there at the end of the runway, so it feels like when the planes go over that you can almost grab the wheels. That's what it feels like. You can't, but it feels like they're that close. And when they go over, you literally have to plug your ears. So I know that area so well. But when you take off from that place, the runway just feels so short. They really hammer that thruster so they can get that thing up. And it feels like they're just climbing straight up. And as you are, you see the Washington Monument, you see the Capitol and everything else. Sometimes when they're banking, depending on which way they're going, I had a picture one time that I took where I could see where my parents' house was. And to see that clip of that plane and that helicopter meeting and that fireball, I knew as soon as I saw that nobody was going to make it. I knew between that explosion, that river being as cold as it is, the 67 people that got up yesterday morning did not know it was going to be their last day. I pray for all of them, and I pray for their families. And that's why I always say, let the people you know, let the people you love know how you feel about it. Life is short and life is so precious. And you gotta make the most of it. I love you guys. And God willing, we'll all be here tomorrow.